and welcome.
Hello, welcome to Family Home Evening
with Bad Mormons. We're so happy that you've joined us on this blessed and sacred evening.
Monday, the day of our Family Home Evening.
I'm Mandy.
And I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we're here to enrich your lives with stories of times that we did stupid shit that normal good Mormons would never do.
Right? And in some alternate string theory universe, quantum physics something, we actually probably did die quite a few times.
Also, on that theory, in an alternate string theory universe, we could actually be good Mormons.
Ew.
Whoa, dude. Did I just blow your fucking mind?
You just blew my goddamn mind.
Welcome to the podcast, Tiffany. It's always a joy to have you. Are you burping back there? Were you letting the burps just rip?
No, I was stirring my affogato, which is what I'm drinking.
Oh. Sorry, my bad.
Well, then let's just jump into what we're drinking then. What the fuck is an affogato?
Oh my god, girl.
It's basically gelato with espresso on it.
Oh, right. I don't drink coffee because I'm a good Mormon, bitch.
It's delicious.
And it's cold because of the gelato, and it doesn't say no coffee, it says no hot beverages, right?
Actually, yeah, we did a little spin-off of this, because technically it's no strong drinks, which technically means caffeine, unless it's Coke or Diet Coke. So then it means brewed drinks, unless it's herbal tea, and then it means hot drinks, unless it's hot chocolate. So it's very confusing. Right. There's a lot of conflicting information, a lot of ins, a lot of outs, a lot of what have yous.
A lot of dumb. A lot of real dumb.
Do you want to know what we're drinking?
So much. Oh, we're not asking me. You're probably asking your listeners.
No, I was asking you. All my questions are directed at you, Tiffany. So I have a bottle of whiskey in front of me. Charlotte and I do. It's called Angel's Envy Finished Rye Whiskey.
Angel's Anus? Is what I thought you were going to say.
Angel's Anus. It's the devilishest of devil brews. No, but for real. A good friend of mine at work who's the expert on whiskey told me that this was one of his favorite whiskeys he's ever tasted in his entire life.
Ooh,
and what it is it's a rye whiskey that's aged in Jamaican rum barrels.
Okay.
He told me that it tastes just like butterscotch when you drink it. So I would like for us together to taste it,
like butterscotch.
Smell it. It does smell like butterscotch, and let me know what you think.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. I can see that.
That's pretty fucking good.
There's a little burn, as it should have.
But not too much.
But not too much. It's not, I didn't go,
It does taste like fucking butterscotch.
It's very sweet.
It is sweet.
But not like in a sickening sweet sort of way. It's like whereas I personally like things more on the smokier side.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
More earthy side. But this is
like
bad.
Vanilla ice cream butterscotch candy in whiskey form.
This is what I would assume butterbeer in the Harry Potter universe should taste like.
when anyone over 13 comes into that bar and orders a butterbeer, this is what they get. What's the name of that bar? The Cauldron? Black Cauldron?
Oh, it's been a while.
I'm going to get a lot of shit right now, so I'm going to apologize and repent in advance. I know a lot of our listeners out there are huge Harry Potter fans.
The Foggy Cauldron.
And I should have known that, and I'm sorry.
Diagonal Alley.
Yes, that's where the bar is at.
Right, and it's the Rusty Trombone.
Let's move on before our podcast gets canceled by the internet.
I haven't had any whiskey since I was, I think, 19.
Are you serious?
I remember Laurie, and I can't even smell it without my stomach turning. Laurie and Crystal and I finished a handle of whiskey one night, and it's all when we were much smaller and young.
Uh-huh.
And I remember bits and pieces of the night. I remember slurping spilled whiskey off of a table and the varnish coming up with it.
Ew.
I remember.
Why do I remember that? Was I there?
Probably. I think it was on Henry Street.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Laurie and Crystal and Todd were making out. Oh, sorry, Toad. Crystal and Toad were making out, and then he was trying to make out with Laurie, and so I was yelling at him about how that wasn't cool, and then we were making out. And that's the last night I ever had whiskey.
It's funny. I feel like we all have a story like that. Like, I definitely have that with tequila. Courtney has that story that we've already talked about on the podcast with Beefeater gin. Charlotte, do you have an alcohol like that?
Mine's tequila.
Oh, yours tequila.
But the thing is, I threw it up right away, so I didn't actually get drunk on it, but I had to take care of Laurie and my friend Nicole, which I think I might have told that story, but I can't remember.
You have. I think it was on the podcast.
Mine was my story was in the Toad and Crystal times as well, but it was at that house that Autumn and Jasmine and I think Susanna were living in over in Fairhaven, and I was wandering around in a fucking construction site, blacked out drunk on tequila, and I don't know how I didn't wind up with like rebar through my face or some shit.
Yeah. You still can't look at tequila?
No, she drinks it all the time.
I do now, but it took a long time to get over it. I think that might be the same night where you woke up in a puddle on the roof.
It could be. I don't remember what we were drinking, but I woke up with a burn on my arm, and I was naked upstairs in that crow's nest. I don't remember being in the puddle on the roof.
Good times.
It's a flat roof. That's why I'm still alive.
Yeah, thank the fucking Lord. Hey, we forgot to mention it at the top of the show, but cheers to our patrons.
Hey, patrons, cheers.
Thank you so much for supporting our endeavors.
Much thanks.
I put a little something in the mail today for a little special someone, and we sent a package filled with love and care and good and sin and Satan to Australia yesterday, so that's coming your way, my friend.
Spoiler alert.
But seriously, thank you so much. We love you, and we probably would have stopped doing this a long time ago if it wasn't for all of you guys.
Yay,
so
thank you
cheers
so
to you,
much.
motherfuckers.
Cheers.
Surprisingly, I don't have anything to repent for today.
I feel like I probably do, but I've been on a bit of a bender, so I don't know what it is yet.
You know what? Cheers again. Let's drink to not having to repent.
Yeah. Woo!
Sorry, what were you going to say, Tiff?
I was going to say I could repent, but not to your listeners. I could repent to Charlotte for calling her a dildo in front of the nephews at Dad's house. I want to repent for that, Charlotte.
She called me a dildo. Like, stop being a dildo or something like that. I'm like, right in front of the kids.
Tiffany, you called your sister a dildo in front of Dad?
Yeah, it's because I was really mad. Like, I want to blame my crisis time because I can't remember the last time I was that angry over nothing.
It's because
Charlotte
I put the
used
chicken
meat
tongues
spoon
in the vegetarian
dish, and
dish.
I got really angry and called her a dildo, and I feel really bad about it.
You asshole.
Wait, you're blaming it on the what times?
My crisis time.
The crisis times?
My special lady crisis time.
Is that when you have to go to the hut and shame yourself and bury yourself in a hole up to your neck until
you've been saved by a man?
Yeah, when you have to like sleep out with the dogs because you're unclean.
Hey, listen, that reminds me, that brings us right to our next segment, which is Mormon Corner. And I just I found a couple of passages in the hopefully by now world famous book called Woman, which we like to read from weekly for you guys. We skipped it last week. We went back to do some Mormon trail recipes, but we couldn't stay away from it for long. We're back now, and I think I found something that you, Tiffany, and you, Charlotte, are really going to want to hear. I don't know why there's an asterisk at the top that says, sounds like you have a little dick. Oh, wait, no, yes, I do. That was a quote from Nick. Anyway, let me just jump right in. So you guys have the footnotes ahead of time. Sounds like you have a little dick. Here we go. Page 144 of the book Woman, written by 15 dudes. With respect to birth control, comma, President Joseph F. Smith said in 1917, quote, I think it is a crying evil that there should exist a sentiment or feeling among any members of the church to curtail the birth of their children. I think that is a crime wherever it occurs, and the husband and wife are in possession of health and vigor and are free from impurities that would be entailed upon their posterity. I believe that where people undertake to curtail or prevent the birth of their children, that they are going to reap disappointment by and by. I have no hesitancy in saying that I believe this is one of the greatest crimes of the world today, this evil practice. This is in the Gospel Doctrine something or other. On these matters, the First Presidency has said, we've given careful consideration to the question of the proposed laws on abortion and sterilization. We are opposed to any modification, expansion, what does that mean? Sorry, expansion or liberalization of laws on these vital subjects. Boring. Sorry, I thought this was going to be more interesting right off the bat.
Well, they're talking about birth control and how men are saying that we shouldn't have it because,
Hold on, I'm going to keep reading. I have a feeling this is going to get really good. The following are samples from the many other scriptures that materially relate to stability. No, I don't want to read scriptures. I want to read what you guys have to say about it. Okay. I desire to call attention to some of the scriptural instructions that I just read. Just picture it. You know what I said. I can think of no subject of which the scriptures speak more frequently, nor can I think of any practice that will do more to promote family stability. The first recorded communication between mortal man and God resulted from prayer. Who fucking recorded it?
I was just wondering the same thing.
The scriptures say that sometime after they had been driven from the garden, Adam and Eve, his wife, in case you were fucking wondering, called upon the name of the Lord, and they heard the voice of the Lord, and blah, 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 blah. Sorry, this isn't very interesting. Let me pick a different one.
She's his wife, but she's also him, right?
Well,
Right.
his rib, technically.
And also
Right,
we're
right,
all
but it's
products
him.
of incest because apparently they
We have incest in our family. Did I tell you guys that?
No, what?
I was looking through the family tree website because you just have to say you're a Mormon, and they're like, "Can we see your temple records?" And you're like, "Oh, for sure," and then you never have to send them. And so you
Nice,
can see, it's nice, and so you can see like all back through all the work that everyone has done. But on Grandma's side, there is we're related to kings and like knights and lots of people, obviously.
Wait,
But
mom's
in
mom
there-
or dad's mom?
Mom's mom.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. That's what I assumed you meant, but I just wanted to make sure.
She seems the most regal, right?
She does, yeah, she does.
But I thought that's also where Crow Indian came from.
And that's not actually in there that I could see, but it is a lot to look at because everybody has a parent, right? And
Right.
it goes off in so many different ways. But I followed it one night, and we're related to somebody called Ethelred the Unready.
Wait, say that slower. What is it called?
Ethelred the Unready,
Ethel Red?
The Unready.
like the Unready, and he was king of the English from 978 to 1013, and again from 1014 until his death in 1016.
Okay.
Sweet.
And there's Scottish king. There's lots of kings in there. I'm pretty sure everybody in the world is probably related to a king, but we probably have more kings.
I mean, no big deal.
But
But
also,
We're kind of royalty.
what?
no big deal, but we're kind of royalty.
Totally, yeah. I mean, I remember when Kay said that too. She's like, we're related to kings. I'm like, doesn't mean you're not 700 pounds living in a trailer park, Kay.
Damn, Tiffany, you just put it all out there.
I
Damn.
know, it was rude. But the whole reason I brought it up is because also there is a brother and sister that banged and created one of our ancestors as well.
A
You
brother
know
and
what?
a sister?
Brother and
Gross.
sister.
I fucking knew my eyes were too small and close together. I knew it.
I mean, there's cousins, but also that was just a
I
thing.
was like,
Brother
cousins
and
are
sister
gross,
was a
but
little bit
brothers
like,
and
ugh. What
Yeah.
did they say? The family tree goes into a straight line.
Well, I mean, really, if you're really being technical, if everybody came from Adam and Eve, like we started out this whole thing with, everyone's doing incest all the time, so
Kickers.
gross. And that's why religion's fucking stupid. Moving on. No, I'm kidding.
And Adam and Eve don't exist. But, that's besides the point.
They might have existed. Not obviously in the context of the Bible, but
Well, just as Jesus existed.
you know what? Fair enough. Well, that was disturbing, Tiffany. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Welcome.
Can I hack into your records, or do I have to pretend to promise my own temple records to get access to the vault?
You can use mine if you want, but you could also just hack in. It's pretty easy. Do you want my credentials?
Computer hacking skills, ninja skills.
No big deal.
You know what? Thank you for that. Seriously, the only person that I knew that was famous that we were related to was that Captain Bligh, that horrible, mean pirate guy who was like...
Wait, he was the guy from Mutiny on the Bounty.
Mutiny on the Bounty, yeah.
Right. He was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know who else was a piece of shit? I'm just reading this book right now. Fucking Christopher goddamn Columbus. What a piece of shit.
Right?
I don't even know all the details. I just
he
know
has like this entrance in his diary that's like, I've just come across the most beautiful, kind, loving, warm people. It would take 50 men to subjugate them, and then he did, and he also would be like, bring me all the gold, and if they couldn't, he'd chop off their limbs and kill them.
Wait, it would take how long to subjugate them?
He said, they're the most wonderful, beautiful, loving, like, generous, just fantastic fucking people. It would take 50 men to subjugate them.
Oh, 50
and make
men.
them slaves. And then he did.
Yeah, he is a fucking piece of shit. You know what we should do? You know what would be so fulfilling is if we could somehow create like an anti Christopher Columbus Day.
Right.
You know, or and not just for Christopher Columbus, but for all the like horrible pieces of shit that this country that we live in have idolized and taught us to idolize as children and schooled us to idolize. Like, I feel like we should somehow come together as adults and be like, you know what, fuck you. July 4th is or October, whatever the fuck, is I know we've changed it to Indigenous Peoples Day, but I would like it to not be like supporting and kind and loving to a group of people. I would like it to be hate-filled, you know, like as much hate as he put into the universe, hate back to
it
Christopher
could be like
Columbus.
a purge day. Could be the Christopher Columbus Day. It's the
and it wasn't like he sucked too, but it was like every one of those, like anyone who's like pushing civilization on like native peoples. I guess that something like 80% of the population got wiped out of the North and South America.
Could we just loop gentrification into that too, or is that too
broad?
Well, broad. That's not the word I'm looking for. I'm thinking of like.
Let's do an anti-civilization. We all suck. We're the worst.
We deserve to die. We are the virus.
That's why I'm saying it would be a purge day, like in the movies.
Okay, you were right all along.
But, you know, again, the rules should have to apply. You don't leave your house that day unless you want to participate.
Fair enough.
If there was a 5 stars by Tiffany, Purge would get it. I love that. I love the whole fucking thing.
You know what?
I've seen every single one, and I've seen them in the theaters too.
My favorite memory, Tiffany, well, not my favorite memory, but one of my favorite recent memories with you is when you came to come visit and we put The Purge on, and I was like really into watching it, but yet you decided to put, or you or Craig decided to put on the, oh God, what is it? The people talking, they saying that you're leaving. Anyways, and so it like somehow just went in line with the murdering scenes, but like in a really poppy, cheery sort of way. And I was like, God damn it, I was really into this movie. You guys have fucked it up for me, but this is really funny too.
It sounds like something Craig would do.
Yeah, probably. But I somehow feel like it was your idea.
You know, the best part about having your own podcast is that you're your own boss and you can do whatever you want. So I think we should introduce a new segment as a counterpoint to Tiffany's 1.5 stars.
5 stars.
Tiffany's 5 stars, where she's just cheery and lovely and warm and
and excited about what
excited
she has to talk about.
You know who's aged really wonderfully? Marissa Tomei. Let's all give a shout out to Marissa Tomei, right? 5 stars.
5 stars all around.
Hey,
you know who looks fucking weird though, and is using like she's had too much filler, too much filters, and she's using like Kardashian makeup is Madonna. Have you guys seen those pictures of her?
Oh, I
not recently, no.
I was looking up celebrity deaths because I think there's something wrong with me. And it was like pictures from Madonna's 63rd birthday, her and her 27-year-old boyfriend. And look at him, and she looks like she's 27. And you know it's filters and makeup, but also so much plastic surgery. It's really creepy.
There's no way she could look like a good 27.
Look him up. Look it up right now.
I can't. You're on my phone.
The audience will wait.
I was gonna say there's a lot of people out there who have plastic surgery that are done well. You know, like I mean, give it up to the Kardashians. No, fuck you. We're not talking about that yet. I have things to say about Steve Zahn, but not yet.
The Kardashians can suck a dick, Mandy. It's a lot of makeup.
It is a lot of makeup, but I'm telling you, Kris Jenner, her plastic surgeon is one of the best I've ever seen. Like, you know how when you see a celebrity, you can tell Steve Zahn that they've had plastic surgery. You can see the lift, you can see the tighten. And I'm not just picking on him because I do like him, but everybody who gets plastic surgery, there's a look that you have on your face that's like, I have plastic surgery face. Kris Jenner has managed to avoid that. And some of that is makeup. But some of that is she has a really fucking good plastic surgeon.
I mean, you know, the worst of the worst is Meg Ryan. I mean, that was just fucking bad all around.
Well, I mean, isn't Cher really the worst of the worst?
Meg Ryan is close. Real bad.
Hold on, I'm sending you guys a picture of Madonna.
All right, well, while you're doing that, we should just jump into the next thing, which was we have a couple of things, at least I have a couple of things for cool shit that's happening.
Okay.
One of which was we just watched White Lotus, which is a limited series on HBO.
Is not a happy-go-lucky fucking thing.
No.
You don't leave feeling great.
No. But it is.
But it makes you think
good
about it, and that's what makes it great.
It's pretty fucking good. I highly recommend it. Is it
like Black Mirror good?
No, it's different. It's more about like kind of what you walk away from the series feeling, and it's like what, 6 episodes, 8 episodes?
It's only 6 episodes.
It's like rich white people are the fucking worst, and they get away with everything they ever want, and there's no repercussions for them. People of color, minorities, or should we say...
Let's just say people in the service industry.
People in the service industries.
Yeah.
I was going to say people of the global majority, which would also count.
Right.
People in the service industry just continue to get fucked over by rich white people, and that's the way the system's set up, and nothing's ever going to change that. So it's kind of depressing, but it's also...
It makes you think, if you can walk away thinking about something for an extended amount of time, and this has been days and I'm still fucking thinking about it, that to me is art. And also, that's how change happens, is when people have to be like, well, son of a bitch. Of course, the rich people are never going to look at themselves and see that they're pieces of shit, so it's not going to change for them, but maybe other people might open their eyes to the fact that, you know, privilege is a thing.
Yeah. It's also entertaining.
Right.
So it's not one of those things that's like horrible to watch and you're just feeling like shit the whole time you're watching it. Like you want to watch it, you're trying to guess the outcome. You know, it's very entertaining and it's beautifully scenic. It's set in Hawaii, so it's fucking gorgeous. In fact, Charlotte and I actually both have plane tickets to go to Hawaii in a couple weeks after watching it because we're like, fuck, we haven't been to Hawaii in a while. We need to go back.
Tiffany, you should come with us.
Yeah, you want to come, Tiff?
Oh, you know, I would go to Hawaii, except for I hate cockroaches. Are you guys going to the windward side? Are you going to Honolulu? What up?
Wait, you ate cockroaches?
1.5 stars. I hated it.
Cockroaches.
Tell us the story.
Whatever. Well, they're just gross and they're everywhere. And you're like, please, I don't want to step on you. Please stop walking underneath my fuck cockroach. I don't want to crush your little body.
They're so crunchy.
They're so crunchy.
What's worse, cockroaches or centipedes?
Well, I didn't ever see a centipede. I'm sure that... Oh, no, I did see that one, and it was frightening, and it was injured.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It was the daytime, so I can't imagine full capacity at night. I wouldn't live there.
At Hanauma Bay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a red-legged one, too. Those are the medium.
Yeah.
The blue ones are the most
The blue
poison.
ones are the ones that'll maybe possibly send you to the ER. Anyways.
If I was going to Hawaii, I would learn how to... Because I told you guys I was learning Japanese, so I would learn for sure... Don't stand on the goddamn reefs in Japanese.
Or don't stand on the turtles.
Please don't stand on the turtles in Japanese. Get off that reef in Japanese.
That's your homework, Tiffany. For next week, I want you to learn how to say, get off that fucking reef in Japanese.
It was really, like, it's really stupid because all the people that, like, a lot of people that go there are Japanese and they don't use subtitles, and in the video it makes it look like, yeah, step up on the reef. So it's not their fault.
You're talking about.
I need to learn.
You're talking about the video when you have to go to. So when you go to Hanauma Bay as a tourist, which is a protected nature reserve, and it's a beautiful bay full of turtles and coral and fish and all kinds of cool shit.
Diamonds.
And it's so rare and yes, diamonds. We'll get to that in a second, Charlotte. but it's so rare and beautiful that they make you watch a video before you can go into it. And Tiffany's right. Yeah, the video's in English. It should have Japanese subtitles because 75% of the people watching that video are Japanese speakers and they don't speak English, so they don't know what you're saying. And it shows a picture of a guy standing on the back of a turtle, which is horrifying. And it's like, don't do this, but it just says the words in English. So I'm sure she's right. Like the tourists are probably thinking, oh, like
I get to stand on a turtle.
Konnichiwa, like throwing shakas and standing on the back of a fucking turtle like a fucking idiot. Anyways, sorry, I digress. Diamonds. Talk
There's
about
also
the diamonds.
diamonds in the bay. If you go snorkeling, sometimes you see shiny shit. You should probably return it to Lost and Found. Or if you're like me, you'll just keep it, put it in your ear, but it's defective in the first place, so then you lose it again in a few weeks.
Somebody else will find it. It's probably 500 people have lost and found that same earring since the time you found it.
Or maybe somebody found it, fixed it, and now has it forever.
Or found it, turned it in, and it's back to its rightful owner.
No, that can't happen because I didn't do that. So it's in Lost and Found somewhere, still rotting there. Diamonds, Mandy, diamonds.
Anyways, White Lotus was cool.
That was good.
And it was set in Maui, which was very,
Never been?
very nostalgic for me. Like, I don't know. And shout out to my Maui peeps. That's all I'm going to say. I miss you guys. Let's move on.
I guess, since Mandy's tearing up and
Before
crying.
I get a tear and start getting emotional. Speaking of Hawaii, actually.
Ooh.
So, after watching that show, Charlotte and I were like, well, to be fair, I was like, I'm going to fucking Hawaii, and Charlotte's like, I'm coming with you. Mm-hmm. And piggybacked onto my trip, which I love, and I'm excited about.
I do that all the time, and you also invited me.
I did invite her. Of course I invited her.
Because you can't not invite me.
However, so it was like, looking, what Hawaii travel restrictions are, COVID restrictions, because I haven't traveled anywhere since COVID. It's been it's been like a year and a half. And I know that there's, like, for a while it was like you had to get there in quarantine and blah, blah, blah. So I was trying to look up what the restrictions are. Just in case anyone's curious, as of today, which the recording date is August 19th. It's a Thursday today. You have to be either vaccinated or have a negative COVID test within 72 hours of your flight. Right? And that's I feel like kind of the thing that's happening with most places, concerts, like large scale outdoor events or whatever. That's just kind of becoming the new normal thing. So it's like, either be vaccinated. If you don't want to be vaccinated, prove you don't have COVID.
Well, okay,
right?
For me, because I'm this weekend going to be in Austin, Texas at a Behind the Chair show, which is a hairstylist thing. But there's thousands of people there. Doesn't matter whether you're vaccinated or not, you still have to show a test within 3 days of taking it that you're negative for COVID.
Right. And so as I'm reading that thing, that's actually what the state of Hawaii is doing now too. So you it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or not, you still have to take your test and prove that you don't have it upon entry to, I think they check you as you're landing, probably much like customs would do. I'm assuming. I haven't done it. And I was researching it, and it turns out just this week alone, there was two different separate families, one from California and one from Florida, that were arrested in Honolulu for having fake vaccine cards. So
That's so stupid.
So there's this huge thing that's coming about with anti-vaccination people saying that they want to get they want to be afforded the same privileges or whatever, so they're getting fake vaccination cards and presenting them to legal government authorities, right? And they're and the reason that these people even got caught was because they had vaccination records for their kids who were really little, and kids under 12 can't even get vaccines. Right? So they were like, hold on. And that's the only reason these two got caught. But imagine how many other people are doing it without it. But for real, the reason I want to bring this up is because if you're thinking about doing that, it's a year in jail and a $5,000 fine.
Dang.
So I just want to put that out there. If you're trying to go to Hawaii, they are not fucking playing. And Hawaii's the only state in the U.S., obviously for logistical reasons, that's doing that. But just word to the wise, if you want to go to Hawaii, be prepared to get a negative COVID test.
Also, I want to point out that I did not know this, but I have told all of my people, and they're like, I didn't know this either. Mandy let me know that should you go to jail or prison when you live in Hawaii, You go to Arizona. So they don't even get to go to Hawaii prison. They go to Arizona.
Yeah, we don't have prison over there.
Right.
I say we like I still live there. They don't have a big max security prison. People are escaping from jail there all the fucking time. They're like, hey, you seen like Uncle fucking whatever? He got out of jail again. Go get him. He's probably at the karaoke bar.
So
with the,
max prison,
with the
so
hostess.
I can tell the story correctly.
Well, I just meant maximum security prison. They have a jail,
Okay.
obviously, but they don't have a prison. No, you said it right.
Okay, good. I was just wondering. So I don't like telling stories, like, because I tell people, like, I'm an authority on the subject. So if I'm going to have that kind of gusto, I need to make sure I got my facts straight.
Yeah, I have a feeling they probably send people different places depending on the severity of the crime.
Right.
But, like, Hawaii doesn't get a lot of capital murder or a lot of really, like,
Just saying,
heinous
should you
crimes.
steal a $75,000 bracelet, where would you be sent?
Yeah, more than likely Arizona. Anyway, little,
Probably a corporate prison too.
Probably. Fucking Arizona. Garbage capital
Fucking
of the
prison.
world.
Amazon prison.
Oh my
I
god.
would not be goddamn surprised.
I wouldn't either.
Oh my god, you just gave him my
Fucking
idea.
Amazon.
Edit
Are
this
you
out.
fucking kidding me? Like, I have to give Jeff Bezos the idea to fund
Privatize prison.
Privatize prison. Thank you.
He probably no. Prisons already been privatized. There, lots of corporations own prisons, but I just wouldn't be surprised if he was one of them.
Oh, exactly. And you know who owns all the corporations is fucking Amazon.
Right.
There was a just I know we're getting slightly like going off on a drunken tangent, or at least I am. But there was a time not too long ago in the past year where the half of the internet went down. Like all of our servers at work went down. The podcast platform that we host this particular show on, Anchor, which is now owned by Spotify, but before then it was owned by Anchor. It was its own thing. All of their servers went down. Literally more than half of the internet totally lost their access to all their servers. You know why? Because Amazon owns 75% of the servers that give internet to the entire fucking world.
Isn't that a monopoly? I mean,
and their servers went down. Don't ask me how I know that, because that would be a breach of confidence, but I'm just saying. There's, Amazon owns fucking everything, and they're gonna keep owning everything until something changes.
Anti-monopoly, I'm making words up now. Monopolization was monopolization.
Charlotte, say phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
Banana.
Listen, bitches.
We can start over.
Isn't Amazon a monopoly at this point? I mean, aren't there anti-monopolization laws? It doesn't matter. It's not a real word anyway. I mean, it is a word, but it's not a real word. I don't think monopolization is a word.
Yeah, I think it gets real tricky when it comes to international. Like when
Right.
a corporation wants to move their headquarters to fucking some island that Jeff Bezos owns in the Bahamas that turns out it's the Republic of Jeff Bezos. Like,
Right.
things start to get really muddy. And I'm only saying this as a drunk person
Right.
recording a podcast for fun. Like, I don't know shit, but I know enough to know that if anything could have been done, it would have. Poor people can't fight rich people, and it's just been
Right.
proven over time. And
Well, I think that's true. Kind of. I think now that it's like 22 people who own 98% of the world's wealth can like fit in a limo together, I think maybe since there's 1 gazillion of us, we could fight back a little bit. How about we'll start with the 3 of us. We just will pretend that money doesn't exist. No?
Okay,
yeah,
mother.
no, you're right. You're absolutely right. But that's what it would take. It would take like a collective unification, which is interesting. The state of the world, like everything that's happening, every little piece of news, every piece of data that you're fed, at least for me, makes me fucking hate other people.
Right.
Makes me hate half
What?
of the people in the world. And we're constantly divided, and I'm sure that's a
Well,
construct. I'm
for
The
sure
rich
that's
people own the media.
that's what I'm saying.
Well, for instance, for this to work, you'd have to have a collective of people, correct? Well, let's talk about just even California, for instance. People have been talking about, I'm not going back to, is it not Pacific Standard Time, but like, I'm not falling back This is the time
Daylight
zone.
savings time.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not changing it back. This is what the time zone is now. Fucking doing it with Arizona or whatever. I'm not doing it. And if everybody just said, I'm not fucking doing it, it would have to be done, correct? And this is something as little as changing your clocks back 1 hour. It's not going to fucking happen because we're sheep and we'll just do what we're told. And it's like, well, no, I mean, nobody made us do it yet until the government tells us to do it. But if everybody just said, no, I'm going to be showing up at 11 o'clock, and I don't care what the clock, if it says 10 or 12 or whatever it might be, this is my time zone now.
It's a really interesting, it's actually super interesting, and I haven't really thought about it too in depth, but like if you think about the hive mind mentality, like how bees survive and how ants survive and how like, ants in particular, ants could easily take over the entire world and wipe all of us out. Have you ever seen ants like drink a droplet of water off of a leaf?
Mm-mm.
They immediately, like, you'll get 10 ants and enough ants to like that would weigh down the leaf and make the water droplet fall off the leaf, but they're smart enough to know that they all go in exactly the same distance apart from each other to balance their weight on the leaf so that the water doesn't drop, and then they all feed from it. Basically they work together for the common good, right? Which humans haven't figured out. I could give you...
I thought you were going to go down some Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones 4
I never saw Crystal Skull.
How dare you bring that up in my presence?
And
but you
I never will. I never will.
Because it's straight up garbage.
But what I'm getting at also is, have you ever seen the... I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but I think it's called the Scene or the Sign, which is basically like a river of ants that would like... They'll consume a baby, like a human baby, in 2 minutes.
So this is the Indiana Jones thing that I'm talking about.
Oh, that's a real thing.
Okay.
I want to just reiterate, I haven't seen Indiana Jones.
And the Crystal Skull.
And the Crystal Skull.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they pretty much, it was ants that were taking over cars, and Shia LaBeouf was like swinging from rope to rope. It was very stupid. But I get what you're saying because that's the visual I can refer back to.
If you have a second, you should Google it. Both of you guys should Google it.
I've read a book or I watched a movie. I know what you're talking about too. It's just like people have to get up off the ground, and anything that they leave, like chickens, their pots, everything gets eaten in
livestock.
The waves. It's like sort of like locusts too, but like more devastating, I think.
So weird.
Yeah, because they're acting in unison. It's the hive mind thing. Bees, wasps, the same thing. It's like one ant couldn't do shit against a cow. 1 billion ants with the same goal and the same focus and the same direction and the same working towards the greater good.
We should write a horror movie.
Can absolutely devour an entire cow in probably 30 minutes. Not even.
And I kind of wonder, so Max was just telling me that, so not all grasshoppers become locusts, but every locust used to be a grasshopper. Like,
really?
It's the same thing, except for that locust, it's like when there's times of plenty, they're like, oh, this is great, we're going to produce so many babies. And they have a gazillion babies, and they eat and eat and eat, and then everything's gone. And then there's so many of them that they, like, drive each other mad, and then they just go on a rampage, a swarm of just eating everything in their path. And I wonder if that's kind of what happens with the ants too. Like, it's good times, and oh shit, we ate everything, we gotta go.
Or if you want to get really like existential, if maybe that's what happened with humans too. It's like, oh, we had it so good, we were all working together to survive for so long, and we achieved our goals, and now we're all crazy and destroying each other because
we're overpopulated.
And the hive mind is now fractured into whatever that fractures into, according to science
also, like,
and nature.
There's also like that we weren't a civilization. We weren't, like, for however long we've been alive, civilization wasn't a thing until, the last 1,000 years or something.
True.
Before that, there was cooperation. There was, like, everything was wonderful. Or so says this book I'm reading. And then...
What book is that? You want to plug your book?
No, Civilized to Death.
Okay.
Well, I was going to say that rich people also, like, know how to... They, like, use psychological bullshit on us, too. To, like you were saying that, oh, I hate half the people, because they're like, oh, we want you to hate half the people. I mean, and they have... like psychologists, like, study people and, like, how do we get them to buy shit? How do we get them to hate shit? How do we get them to not revolt? And, they're good at that, but that's also not what was my fucking point.
Well, you know what? Since you said that, I think it's really fucking true. I know it's really fucking true. And I see myself as a part of the problem and not the solution because I'm comfortable. And even if I wasn't comfortable, I would still be trying to get comfortable. And I would still be a victim of the system that is oppressing me. Like, literally, half of my paycheck goes to fund a system that is actively out to suppress me. And I know that, and I keep fucking doing it anyway, day after day after day, and all of us do. And there's no way for us to, well, I shouldn't say there's no way, but it's a really fucking hard task for all of us to collectively come together and unite towards that common good of us, the people, because of the system that is meant inherently to keep us complacent and fucking fighting with each other.
Right.
And I know
It's
that.
cheap. It's like we're basically just moving goods for rich people.
Yeah.
And keeping them comfortable.
Exactly.
So we all just have to quit. It'll be great.
And the thing is I know that.
I want to burn the co-op down.
I'm a smart enough person to know that. I have reasonable intelligence, but I can't see any way out of this. I feel like
a way out of it unless you're homeless.
And I feel like it's because I'm smart enough to, like, basically, if you can't fight them, join them, sort of a thing.
Just become rich enough that you don't have to pay taxes. Easy.
Well, that's never gonna fucking happen.
You gotta be pretty
This
fucking
podcast is taking off.
By the way, if you haven't subscribed to our Patreon yet, we're gonna need you to head on over. But
I think I
seriously,
was going to bring about the rat. I think I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but I'll bring it up anyway. The rat experiment. I'm sure I've told you guys about it, where they had like this big house for rats, and they started off with a couple rats, but they gave them all the food and all the water that they wanted, and the rats bred, and it was times of plenty. This is kind of going a little bit back to my plague of locusts, but everything was great. And then the rats started to get a little crowded because there was too many rats, but they had plenty of room, and they were still getting fed and watered, but there would be like random instances of violence, like for no good reason. Like one would just start just killing other rats. And then there was also this is the part that I just love the most, is there was beautiful rats, like the most gorgeous rats you've ever seen, and they would just sit up like on like ledges and just preen themselves, and they wouldn't mate, and they wouldn't like interact with other rats. They would just sit there being really good looking,
looking in the mirror, looking at taking selfies,
they have
taking
a mirror,
selfies
yeah.
of themselves and posting them
Yeah.
on Instagram.
totally. And that was all they did, were good looking, and then like the whole society of rats fell apart, or they ended the experiment. I can't remember, but it was very telling.
It's interesting. It's like we have everything we need to figure this out, but we can't fucking figure it out.
Or they've
I'm
already
gonna
figured
figure
it
it out
out, and we
tonight.
haven't figured it out.
No, the problem is that we have to the majority has to figure it out. We have
Again,
to figure
we can't
out that
collectively do that.
that we're being played.
Right. Because I think as soon as people start figuring it out, then they become part of the rich, and they would rather stay part of the rich than have everybody realize. Because you can't be rich and successful and have everything in the world if you're not taking it from other people, essentially.
That is a fucking
Well, I think
fact.
it's also like, it's also like you could like stop, you could walk away. Everybody else would have to do it with you, and then you'd have to be like, oh, you can't own land, you can't, you don't have rights to this, you don't have rights to that. But then you'd also have to fight the people that are being paid by the rich people to protect their assets.
It's
Bullshit.
interesting, just like kind of just to circle back with the rats. I might get fucking drugged through the mud for saying this, but it might really be about population control. If it comes, just based on the rat story that you just told me.
And the locusts and the ants,
And the locusts and the ants. Like, once there's too many, is that when it becomes a problem and everything collapses? Like, we have to have the exact certain amount. Was Gattaca right? Do we need to
like Gattaca.
to do sterilization and genetic manipulation to get just the perfect genetic traits we want for the right group of people?
as somebody
I would
who
like
hasn't...
to volunteer for sterilization. I'm in. I'm ready.
Right. I was going to say, as
Sign us
somebody
all up.
who doesn't have children and never wants to have children, I'm totally fine with that. But as somebody who wants to have kids and blah, 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 I can only imagine that would be a horrible... China, they tried doing that where you could only have one child, and then look what happened to all the baby girls, right?
Well, let's loop this into I don't know, maybe this is relevant, maybe it's not, but let's loop this into like the whole abortion controversy in the United States. I feel like the government is trying to make abortion and birth control difficult for poor people so that they have people to work in the fields and work in the minimum wage jobs and work in their fucking wineries and be their maids and scrub their toilets.
Basic slave labor,
Yeah,
modern slave labor.
Send them to prison and, you know, start Jim Crow all over again.
Also to military and...
Yeah. I just took a big sip of this maple syrupy whiskey because I thought I was holding a wine glass. Because I'm holding a fancy whiskey glass.
Give me that whiskey.
That's going to hurt me in about 5 minutes.
Countdown's on.
You know what I just realized? We're 55 minutes into the recording, and we haven't even done a word from our sponsors.
Well, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Let's do it.
Have you guys done my Holy Oaths yet?
We haven't recorded it.
No, we haven't recorded it. Do you want to record it now?
I don't even remember how it goes.
Holy
Holy Ghost, I eat them every day.
Save it.
See, no, that's all I know.
No, keep going. Something.
Wait, okay. I love my Holy Ghost oats. I eat them every day. Without they don't have devil sugar, so I can never stray. Every box can feed a family.
Up to 23.
They've been prayed over at least 3 times by the bishop, Dad, and me.
You know what?
You're going to have to record it again because it needs to be done proper.
It does need to be done properly, but we're going to leave this one in for this time. We're going to give a little behind the scenes. You know what? I'm the showrunner on this show, and I'm making executive decisions because I just drank 3 full shots of whiskey, and I can do what the fuck I want.
Well, since we're doing whatever the fuck we want to, I also wanted to give a shout out to a different podcast, and it is the podcast Spooked. Tiffany and I were together last week doing a road trip, and when you're driving 14 hours in the middle of the night, and it's 2 a.m. and it's scary out, Spooked is the perfect podcast to listen to. It's like you're sitting around a fireplace. And yeah, there's some pretty good scary stories told by the people who lived them, and some of them are better storytellers than other people, but overall it's a pretty great podcast. That's all.
It's super good. It's my favorite podcast.
Do you think we should tell...
Do 1.5 stars? Yeah.
Yeah! Tiffany, what do you hate this week?
Are you thinking of watching a movie? Here's what you shouldn't watch. Val. It's a documentary about Val Kilmer, and I was thinking, you know who I like? Val Kilmer. I loved Real Genius. He's great in fucking Willow. You know, who doesn't love him in Top Gun, right?
Right.
And also, recently, there was a movie called Kid 90 from Solomon Fry, and I was like, so Punky Brewster, who gives a shit, right? And it was wonderful. I love Solomon Fry. It was really, was wonderful. And so I was like, oh, I expect a lot from this one because I already like Val Kilmer. And oh my Jesus Christ, what a piece of garbage. Yeah, he had throat cancer, but you know what? He is a Christian Scientist, and he got fucking treatment for his kids. Bullshit. He's not a good Christian Scientist. Also, he's just
hold on, he got treatment for his kids?
What?
He got treatment for his kids?
He got cancer treatment for his kids. He was just going to pray on it, but then, his kids are not Christian Scientists. Because I don't know if you know about Christian Scientists, but they don't have any interventions medically.
But wait,
you can have a kidney infection.
But do his kids have cancer?
No, sorry, I'm sorry. Did I get too angry?
Yeah.
His kids don't have cancer. His kids are not Christian Scientists, and they begged him to get treatment because he wasn't going to because he's a Christian Scientist. He did it. He got the surgery because his kids. But bullshit, that means you're a bad Christian Scientist. Val Kilmer's dad bought Roy Rogers' ranch. They had Roy Rogers' ranch money growing up. So then he's like, I want to be an actor, Daddy. And then so he became a fucking actor. And they barely mentioned Real Genius because it's not art. And he sucks. And he never showed pictures of him fat. We all know you're a fucking fat, Val. Like, get over your fucking self.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is pretty fucking fabulous.
He's been in a lot of great movies.
And he's kind of fat in
He's in
that
a lot
one.
of good. He's also apparently really difficult to work with, and he even puts a part in there of a couple people saying he's not difficult to work with, even though there's like lots of headlines and people saying he ruined the movie for me because he sucks. He also sold like 620,000 acres in New Mexico to put on a play about Mark Twain. Which is fine. Whatever, I guess.
Plays are good. Plays are good.
Yeah, but did
Plays
he
are good.
recoup that
I read a
money?
review.
Bad investment.
His play was not good. He wrote and produced it. He's not a stand-up comedian. He charged $70 a seat. Luckily, he got cancer, so it didn't have to flop.
Oh.
I know. Okay, I'm almost done. We're going in for the home run here. So he's in the end, like he's like, oh, I have so many things in common with Mark Twain. I had a brother who died tragically in a hot tub at 15. And Mark Twain had a daughter who died in her 24th year in the bathtub. And, like, I seriously sat straight up in bed and was like, are you fucking kidding me, Val? Fucking Mark Twain had a brother who died on a river fucking boat. Like, you're not going to go brother to brother. You're going, and you love the dude? Come the fuck on. Get your shit together, Val. Anyways, so now I hate Val Kilmer. And he's just a guy that's a rich kid with a lot of teeth.
You know what? Now I hate
Don't
Val
watch
Kilmer.
that.
No, I gotta watch this documentary.
I hate Val Kilmer without even watching the documentary. I hate it just on your 1.5 review.
Listen, Matt
1.5 star
Mardigan.
review.
I cannot get mad at
Yeah, he
Matt
sucks.
Mardigan. Can't do it.
Yeah, great. And he also named his daughter Mercedes. Come on.
But she lived past her 24th year.
Right, so he has less in common with goddamn Mark Twain. My heart is racing. I'm so angry. Don't watch that.
Sorry, I don't want to just segue into the next thing without giving Val Kilmer his proper burial. But could it be possible that we do a podcast with no stories and just us bitching about shit?
I mean,
Can we
I
just
really
bitch
feel like
about
that's the
Val Kilmer
future
the
of our
whole time?
podcast. We are going to run out of stories at some point.
Well, we bitched about Val Kilmer. We bitched about
Rich
society, rich people. We bitched about
people
The
who try to
prison
ruin
system?
the
political-
yeah. We bitched
Rich
about the
people.
prison system.
Right.
We actually most of the stuff we talked about I don't have written down because we went way off fucking script.
Just because it's a conversation, man, you can't script
You're right.
conversation.
You know what? You're right.
That didn't make
Here's
sense.
here's what I propose, you guys. I propose that you and all your friends leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Just a 5-star, maybe a 4-star, you know.
How about I'll just take over the outro? Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you like what you heard, why don't you head on over to Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars or 4, but come on, let's be serious. 5 stars.
You could also go to YouTube and check out our channel. It's pretty lit.
You could like and subscribe it. Tell your friends.
You could
Tell your
also
friends.
you could also go to Patreon because you know who we love more
Our
than even our sister
patrons.
Tiffany. We love our
No
patrons.
one.
Also, if you haven't already, head over to FHEBadmormons.com where we have handcrafted merch and art on sale for you.
For an exorbitant amount of money. You should probably check it out just to see what we're selling it for, because it's stupid.
And if you'd like real deals and really cool shit, we have a merch site up on TeePublic, which you can find from our link tree, which is on all of our social medias. We're on Pinterest,
Fill in the blank. Facebook.
LinkedIn,
Instagram.
Monster.com.
That's not a thing.
I know, I was trying to think of something that was stupid. We're on the .gov website. I don't know. We're drunk. We have to go.
Bye. Wait, hold on. Bye.
How was it?
How was it?
Totally tight.